Live on YouTube.
Let's get it, brother.
All right.
We are live. Bengals versus Chiefs. 5 minutes left in the fourth. Jake Brown just gets sacked on 3rd and 17, pushing us a fourth down. What we got? 3 timeouts left. We got 3.
22.
4th and 24.
All right. This is
Punt.
pretty much bar game, right?
Damn, Jamar Chase is wide open, wasn't he? Just gotta give him a shot, Jake. I get it. Man, you hate to see it, man. He's played very well today, though, man. Jake has played very well today.
Jake is not the problem, if you ask me. Jake was never.
Wait, he caught that? Someone just got hurt. Is that Richie James? Dude, man. Our punter, Brad Robbins, is awful, dude. It's not even like. Oh my gosh, awful. Man. It's brutal, dude. It is brutal, man. Did Chase Brown just get hurt? It's a hell of a return, man. Brad Robbins is a detriment to this team right now, man. He's just absolutely killing us. Field position battle, man.
I don't expect him to be on the team next year.
This dude's returning every single punt he gets his hands on because he knows it's going to be just a short field. You know what I mean?
I know. His longest punt, I think, is 40-something. I don't even think he broke 50 this game.
Still got time, though, man. I mean, still got time. Still got time, man. 4 minutes in the fourth. 9 consecutive 10-1 seasons, man. It is about culture, man. It is, man. It's about culture. It's about winning. And that's why you love these opportunities, man. Even though we kind of all thought, man, this might be over. When Joe went out, man, this is what it's about, man. The boys are playing tonight.
Yeah, I just think, in all honesty, not to preview the whole show, but I think we just don't have depth, in all honesty.
That's it, bro.
We don't have depth anyway.
We've really neglected the depth on the interior D-line, Casey. And we didn't see it really until now, really, once DJ Reader goes down. I mean, we've seen it for a little bit, but it's just like, man, we haven't really talked about it as much. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of it's not a glorified position, so we're not really talking about the trenches all the time, but man.
We should have known something was up. I think last year Reader was out a couple of games, and we had this false.
Wow, great tackle there by Cheeto, man. He's been getting used like a daggone this guy's been getting used and abused, man. Cheeto has.
Poor Cheeto. I mean, he's having it rough this year. He's just not the same.
Come back off an ACL, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Are they kicking this? How far is this?
It's not that far.
If they make this, then the Bengals are weak. It's 25, right? We can only get to 24.
Yeah.
You have to score.
I think that's ball game 17-25. Well, no, they could still they could get a touchdown and an extra point or
they could score and then
2-point conversion. Tie it.
Harrison Butker, man, automatic, bro.
Yeah, every time.
What a fight by the boys, though, man. And Arrowhead, dude.
Right. I mean, they had a great plan going in. I think there was a good game plan for the first half. They just couldn't get anything going in the second half, and they let that quick touchdown or that field goal.
You talk about literally, man. You talk about some people showing up to play, man. That's what the boys did. The boys showed up to play today, man.
Right.
Hopefully, they can get a quick score here. So, what are the odds, man? I mean, the Steelers are going to beat Seattle. If we lose today, are we just out?
Yeah, we're out if the Steelers
Dang
win.
it, dude.
So that would be. I think that is it, right? I don't know what the Steelers' score is right this second, but
Shout out to T. Higgins, man, coming back in the game, trying to fight for the boys, man. Could have stayed out. He did try to come back in.
yeah. So Pittsburgh won. We are just playing to be playing at this point.
Pittsburgh
Um,
won,
yeah, Pittsburgh won.
so we're out anyways.
If we lose this game, we'd be out for sure.
Dang it. Man, the offensive line has come to life, bro, in the second half. Man, with Joe out, dude, this offensive line has been blocking their tail. It kind of pisses me off. They've been blocking their tails off, though, dude.
Yeah, I mean, they should have just continued to try to get the run game established. I know it was 3.3 yards a carry, but I don't know. Get more bootlegs off for Jake Browning to run. If that's what it takes.
Who hurt Kappa? Kappa's down right now. Dang it, man. Oh, he got hit in the eye. He might be straight.
Yeah, Scott. Ever since they went for it on fourth down and didn't take the 3 points, the momentum has
What
been
happened to his
completely in
eye?
Kansas' favor.
Did he get punched in the eye or something? You see that?
I did not see that. But yeah, it's ever since that momentum shift, it's just never looked back. I mean, Kansas City looks like who we thought they were. Super Bowl caliber type team, good defense, can run the ball, can throw it over the top.
Corey Glenn, man. Or not Corey Glenn. What's the guy we brought over from Buffalo?
That is Cordy Glenn, isn't it?
Why am I getting him mixed up with who's the
Yeah.
guy we brought back a while ago with Buffalo? Wasn't there a guy we brought over from Buffalo with under Marvin Lewis where we thought he was going to be okay? Maybe he's with Zach Taylor. He's with Zach Taylor. I'm sorry. What was his name, man? I forget his name. Big fella. Oh
Was
my
he
gosh,
was
bro.
he the left guard?
He was a tackle, I think.
Oh, tackle.
Great bliss by Justin Reed, man. It might be ball game, man. It might be blouses. Wait, why did they just go to commercial right there? Are you seeing the same thing I'm seeing?
I'm having to watch this on a delay, so
Bro, what was that? They were about to snap the ball and they went to commercial. It was like third down.
2-minute warning.
Oh, was that what it was?
Had to have been.
Two-minute warning, man. Tough out for the boys, bro. Tough out for the boys, man. I mean, you gotta. I think the biggest thing for me, man, is I thought they were gonna like completely lay down like 4 weeks ago, man. They fought. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, I mean,
gotta have respect for that.
I can't be too upset with this team. I mean, they were dealing with injuries all year. They came out and fought. They battled. They were going to have to win this game in order for them to win. They were going to need things to break their way a couple times, and it started
Right.
looking like that. It just never got back to their momentum. It never shifted back to where after they made that critical mistake on fourth down, going for it, just haven't looked back.
Man, you seem a little low, man. I don't know if it's me or what, but you seem a little low, dude. Do I sound low or no?
No, you don't sound low. Could just be on my end. I am not right on my mic. Mark, hello.
Mark, what's up, brother?
It's unfortunate what's going on right now.
What a day, man. What a day, dude. I mean, dog. Some great games down the stretch, man. Hate to see the boys lose, but in reality, man, I feel like they fought their tails off, man. I don't know if I'm even like I'm not that upset at the boys, man. They did the unthinkable to me. This guy's offsides. I mean, dude, they just sent the crib at Jake, man.
Yeah.
They just sent the house at the kid.
Yep. I mean, once the Chiefs got a lead, they were able to tee off on us, and
Right.
the whole philosophy for the Bengals just goes out the window. At least that they're
It
not
was like
trying to
Zach.
run the ball. They'll go into shotgun. They won't try to play action, and they'll just
Boys are open too, man. Those windows are open in the league. You know what I mean?
right.
Sucks, man.
Every time I've been on, they've lost.
For real?
Yeah, I think so. It's a tough day.
Where what? I mean, why is Tyler Boyd not involved more than the? I feel like Zach called a masterful game, but dude, it just seemed like in the second half, man, nothing was there, and it's just taking too long to process, man. It's taking too long to process for him down the
Yeah,
stretch.
they started taking away the easy stuff, right? I mean, they
That's the
wouldn't
key,
let
bro.
They
That's what the
wouldn't.
Steelers did last week, man. They took away the screens, they took away the flat routes, and then we got killed.
Yeah, all of
The
his
Chiefs
security,
gave that to us early,
all of
but
his
now
security
nothing's
just
open.
went out the window.
Yeah. But Zach didn't run the ball enough today to me.
Yeah,
Or
32
like
times.
32?
Well, 7 of those are from Jake, but
Okay, yeah.
it
So I mean,
wasn't
that's still a
efficient.
good amount running.
It wasn't that he didn't run enough. Just wasn't efficient enough. It needs
Wasn't
to be
efficient.
better. It needs to be
I
way
like
better.
to see Chase Brown, man, get more, dude.
Yeah, he only had 3 carries.
He needs more. He's an animal, dog. When Mixon, like, not no knock on Mixon is a beast, right? But when Mixon gets the ball, man, he's like takes him a little bit to get going. It seems like Chase is going to break a TD every time he touches it.
Yeah, and one of his carries
Yeah.
was down in the red zone on an obvious run down, like a running down situation.
They took our souls, man. Where's the urgency, man? I mean, dog, we just got annihilated. Did he line up over Cordy Glenn?
You mean Volson or Karras? Or...
I mean, I'm sorry, did he line up? Yeah, he lined up over, man, who's the guard that we brought in from Buffalo? His name's not Cordy Glenn. What's his name? I forget his name. Because Kappa went out, right?
Oh, Cody Ford. You're talking about
Cody Ford. I keep calling him Cordy. Cordy Glenn's the guy we brought in a while back,
Yeah,
and he had issues. Yeah.
my bad. Cody Ford.
You're good. I'm like, I'll keep mixing them up. I'm like, dude, I don't know why I keep thinking about Cordy Glenn. Kappa's back in the game, though. Volson just held his own right there, didn't he? Dang, dude. I mean, Kappa just got annihilated.
There was a down year for anyone on the O line. It would be Kappa, I think. Kappa's not played as good.
Kappa got annihilated, man. In 1 second.
Oh man, third and forever. It's gonna be a tough ask. Tough ask. Kappa got poked in the eye and is playing with one eye. I've not been able to actually watch it in my office here. I've been watching it on
What
the game
was that,
pass.
bro? What was that? And T. Higgins is hurt. Golly, bro.
Yeah, not a good day
Tell you
to be
what,
a
they're gonna celebrate this like a big win, man.
yeah.
And it is a big win. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah, that'll be it. So as they kneel out this game, my initial thoughts were I want Jake Browning to stay here long term, backup quarterback. I think they can win ball games with him. He's a solid option, and without knowing Burrow's timetable yet, they haven't really officially stated anything. Um, Sometimes you just gotta assume the worst, and so if we go into next year with Jake Browning, I'm comfortable with that. I think that they can devise a game plan all around his skill sets and still win ball games. Um, they came into this game with the right mindset: control the clock, run the ball,
Yeah.
and keep Mahomes off the field. I think they would have loved to have back that fourth down um, in the beginning of the second half. I think that if they take the points there, it's a little bit of a different ball game. I think overall, defensively, we just have no depth, and I think the secondary is really young. They're still making a lot of rookie mistakes. That'll be something to keep an eye on for next year. And after that, it's just playoffs are over.
Yeah.
The Steelers win, that kind of solidified us being out of this race. Doesn't even matter if we go and beat the Browns. According to this website I have here, I just gave the Bengals a loss, a Steelers a win, and with that, if I move on to next week, I think the stats say that Bengals have like a 0 chance. Yeah, a 0% chance. So, with that, let me just roll the intro, and we'll get this show started.
Just get right to it.
Welcome to Chatterbox Bengals, a losing edition, a sad day. Bengals are officially out of the playoff race with the win for the Steelers and the loss for the Bengals. That officially kicked them out, I believe, of the playoff hunt. Eric, I brought up earlier before we went into the intro my initial thoughts. What are your thoughts on this game?
Man, it's a mixed bag, right? Because extremely sad, man, that the boys lost and they're eliminated from playoff contention. It's been a while, really, last couple of years where we've been out of playoff contention and not playing right to the very end. So devastated by that. But a part of me, man, is proud of the way they played, proud of the way they proved me wrong, really just showing up, man, and playing ball when everybody counted them out, dude. I mean, truthfully, when they went on the 3-game run, it was a complete team effort. I know sometimes, like Aaron Rodgers says, sometimes the quarterback gets too much credit, or sometimes they get too much blame, or sometimes they get too much credit. And I think what we saw here was that today, Jake Browning played a great game, first and foremost. I'm a little sick, so I apologize if I sound nasally. But Jake Browning played a great game. But the team played I think the team played a very, I wouldn't say complete, but they played a decent game collectively. I think defense, there's a lot to work on there, man, honestly. We got some things to clean up on that end. But I think the biggest takeaway, Casey, not the ramble, is that, dude, we're eliminated, but the boys did fight. You know, I mean, I'm trying to find something. I'm trying to find like glass half full, some type of positive in the situation. And to me, the positive is, hey, the boys fought, man, and they shocked me, to be honest, to even be in this spot. They were in Arrowhead tonight.
Yeah, they came out, and I would say that they played a phenomenal first half, above expectations. I think their game plan going into that was phenomenal. Um, they executed, but when it came to the second half, it left much to be desired. I think that they started to give away their lead, and when the Bengals, at least this year, when they've been giving up leads, have a hard time coming back. They kind of throw away the game plan and just try to throw to get back in the game. And it exposed Jake Browning's flaws again, but I still think you can win ball games with Jake. I thought that they could have won this game easily. They just need to be a little bit more efficient in the run game. And if they were able to do that, I think that this would have been a Bengals win. Unfortunately, it's not. I know a lot of people want to talk about the defense. We'll talk about that here in just a second. But kudos to Jake the Snake Browning. I think he should be here next year. If it comes down to, if we're having a conversation where Joe Burrow is on the sideline for any period of time, I think we should all feel comfortable knowing that Jake can take this team where it needs to go and win a couple games.
Man.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, brother. My bad.
No, go ahead.
I agree, man. I agree, and I think Jake Brown has proved to be like the backup, man. This is the year of the backup. I said that before, and they said on the national broadcast. I felt pretty good when they said that. But, man, this is the year of the backup, man. And Jake Brown, and to me, he showed that he could play in these situations, man. I mean, they were in Arrowhead tonight. It got a little tough late in the game because they could pin their ears back and just come and get you. But like you said, Casey, he can win a couple games, man. I mean, he went 3-3 for Christ's sake, man. And I mean, it looked like a different offense. Some people said it was the exact same. I don't know if they're watching, but it looked like a completely different offense. But it was efficient and it worked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So 100%, man. Jake the Snake, he's got the backup role. But, dude, it just – part of me, Casey, is like, how is the flats that wide open every single time with Jake? Like, why? You know what I mean? It's open every single time. The only game that got taken away was last week.
Yeah, and I don't know what the answer to that is. I think it's possible that defenses play us exactly how they would play Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
And they'll double chase, and they'll occasionally double T at the same time, which is what I think the Chiefs did for the most part in that first half. I mean, They weren't letting any of the receivers catch anything. I think they had 7 catches altogether in the first half from both sides. Both teams were only 7 catches for receivers. So that has something to do with it, I think. Clearly going forward, teams should probably take away some of the underneath stuff. I think Jake Browning kind of struggles a little bit throwing it deep, but not terribly. I think pressure in his face does affect him quite a bit more than it does Joe Burrow. Yeah. But overall, I think we both agree, and many of you probably agree, that Jake Browning should be the long-term backup if that is a possibility. I have game plan as the next sort of like topic to talk about. We've kind of touched on it here and there, but I can't really blame Zach Taylor for this game. Like you and I have both said, you probably think that he wants that 4th down call back. Everyone in hindsight would probably say the same thing. But a masterful game was called the first half. Some things didn't break their way. Ended up being 17-13, which I'm sure that they didn't want that to happen. I'm sure they would have loved to have been 17-10.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. I think the main problem was towards the end, they just couldn't execute on the game plan. They didn't have an efficient run game the second half. They weren't able to stop the big explosive plays, and they weren't able to really control the clock. The Chiefs ended up, I believe, with a very a very good possession, time of possession on this game, which they at the end of the half it was Bengals with 21 minutes and the Chiefs with 8, and that is winning football, at least when you're going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. It ended up swaying quite a bit back towards the Chiefs' favor, which ultimately, the longer that Mahomes is out on the field, the longer he's going to have to make plays and win a ball game. So,
Right.
yeah, unfortunately, they couldn't execute in the second half, and that's
Man,
kind of and it's indicative of what Lou Anarumo and Zach have
Yeah.
struggled with all year long.
dude, the game plan. I agree 100% with you, Casey. And my bad, man. I feel like I want to chime in there. I feel like the game plan from Zach, even last week, these are game plans that have been very efficient over that 3-game win streak with Jake Browning. Now, some of the calls, can we look at a couple things here, nitpick there and there, and say, hey, Zach, you got to take the field goal there tonight, right? We can do that. But overall, man, I think Zach Taylor called a good game. I think when you talk about them really being in it right down to the wire, Zach Taylor did an incredible job from a game plan standpoint. Now, I would like to see Chase Brown get a couple more carries. You said they had 32 carries, and then 7 of them were Jake. I still felt like, man, we need a little bit more. We need to lean a little bit more on that balance. Let's continue to lean on the play action like we did in the first half, because in the first half we had a lot of misdirection, a lot of window dressing, a lot of play action, and Drew Sample and some of the tight ends, man, could eat off of that play action game. And I just feel like in the second half we almost got away from doing that a little bit more. So I don't know, man. I felt like it was good, but some things we could always tweak. We can always question something, right, as we look at the game plan.
Yeah, I would agree. I think my main gripe with the run game was just it wasn't very efficient, and I think a lot of people in the chat would agree with me in saying that this has not been a great run blocking team. They've been much better in pass protection, but when you have a backup quarterback, let's be very clear. When you have a backup quarterback in Jake Browning, pass blocking is going to be a little bit more difficult because he takes longer to process the field. It takes longer to make the right read. The throws are different than Joe Burrow. Everything is just different than Joe Burrow because Joe Burrow is a machine. He processes like no other quarterback in the NFL and gets the ball out quickly. Now, it's not a knock against the offensive line per se as it is Jake Browning. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that, but it's just when we want to sit here and say the offensive line was terrible, they couldn't get anything going in the run game or protect Jake Browning, I think it's tough to do, especially against that defensive line with Chris Jones, the emergence of Karl Loftus and Winnemu. I don't even know that guy, but he was all over the field too. It was just a tough day.
Charles Omenihu from the Texans.
Yeah. That was just a tough game for the offensive line in general to be able to be very efficient.
And we gotta be 100% honest when we look at this. They start teeing off, man, in the fourth quarter. The O-line I feel like the O-line during the Jake Browning era, I'm not saying it has been perfect, okay? But it has been very much improved. And I'm seeing a better run blocking from the offensive line. I'm seeing better pass pro from the offensive line. And truthfully, I feel like it's some of the best offensive line play that we've seen this season. Obviously, the 49ers game, I think they played very well too. But it's tough to just fall back and blame the O-line because there were times in that game, Casey, where it looked like the Cincinnati Bengals could blow the Chiefs out at home. There really was times where it felt like, oh wait, we might run away with this game. But then there
Right.
was a lot of missed opportunities, right? I think that's what you kind of want to talk about next.
Yeah, the defense, the big blown plays. This was a tough game to um, see it all unfold again. Like this is a
Yeah,
reoccurring problem for this secondary, for this defensive line. Wait, big blown plays and depth. I'm going to tie those two together because they do correlate with each other. DJ Reader should not be that integral for us to be able to stop the run. And
yeah,
really, even when he's not been out, when he's been healthy, that teams have been able to run the ball all over us. I think it just exposed that the regression and the front seven slash not enough depth there. Zach Carter just could not get it done. BJ Hill was getting double teamed every time. They were getting pushed. Isaiah Pacheco had like 160 something all purpose yards, maybe even like more than that. Um, that's not good enough. The deep ball plays, like that was that 67-yard deep bomb was the longest pass the Chiefs had all season long, and of course we are the ones to give that play up. We were the ones
yeah.
to give up the big plays. Now, on the flip side, we had some big plays on defense in the first half too. The strip sack fumble, but we just don't have enough there. We don't have another
Yeah.
guy that can get that pressure, and it just all culminated, thrown it into our face once again that this team just doesn't have the depth. They're super young in the secondary, and it results into huge plays every single week.
Yeah, man. We invested in the trenches on offense, and then on defense, we kind of hoped that people would stay healthy, and it would pan out in the interior, right? We kind of kept everything the same for the most part on the interior defensive line, man. And you said it yourself, even with DJ Reader in, teams were still running the ball this season. So I think DJ Reader is an integral part to what we do. But I do believe, man, from a run defense standpoint, it's an attitude, dude. And I feel like the defense has. I feel like they just took a step back, man. I don't know if it's just being locked in, if it's maybe lose a little bit of fire when you see your starting franchise go out. Like it feels, and they weren't playing well when Joe Burrow was in, right? But it feels like they played well against San Fran, so I got to give them that. But it feels like there's some missing juice in the room. Now, Cam Taylor Britt, he always brings the juice. Jordan Battle, he's coming on. He seems like going to be a fine player in this league. But there's a couple pieces there, and you knew losing Jesse Bates, losing Von Bell. A lot of people, put lipstick on a pig, and they say, "Hey, look, this team's going to be better without Jesse Bates and Von Bell." And that just wasn't the case. You know what I mean? The truth is that the Bengals lost key players, man, in the safety spot in Jesse Bates and Von Bell. And even though you look at the positions, Von Bell was a leader for that defense. He held meetings every single week, first guy in, last guy out type of guy, and he ran his own DB meetings. So I just think there's maybe a little bit missing there. Logan Wilson and Jermaine Pratt haven't played their best ball after getting paid. Logan Wilson, and they'll bounce back 100%. I got 100% faith in those guys. It's one of the best tandems in the league. I think they're just having a down year. But on that play where they give up the touchdown on the wheel route out of the backfield to Pacheco, you see Logan Wilson chasing the motion, but that motion man's a receiver. And when I look at the play, and I'm trying to not get too much into the X's and O's, but as a linebacker, unless his responsibility was man on that guy, which I don't believe he had corner help out there, why are you chasing this guy all the way out there to the numbers? You know what I mean?
Right.
So just some things there, man, that you got to clean up and you got to get the boys back focused in because they don't seem as locked in or focused, Casey. Just, being direct.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think there's a leadership issue there. I think losing Von Bell, he was a tone setter. I think many people
Yeah.
think the tide of that defense was that hit against the Steelers. Juju Smith gets knocked out and the fumble and that return afterwards. That was kind of the turning point. That's sorely missed with Von Bell. And I also think,
Yeah.
too, like Jesse Bates, we knew that he was a top three safety in the league. Well, it turns out he
Yeah,
might be the best safety in the league. Just look at his numbers now in Atlanta, and
yeah,
you know that we are sorely missing a guy like that that would really help position our guys, have that leadership role, be able to go sideline to sideline that no other safety can. And I think that that's missing. Yeah, I would have to agree with you on that. Um,
yeah.
I do wonder what the plan is for the future, if they're looking at possibly getting another guy or what that looks like, because we're kind of stuck with what we got in terms of the safety room and the corners. We've invested a lot of draft capital into that spot, invested a ton of resources to the secondary, and if they don't start figuring it out, we're going to be looking at more and more issues going down the road. um, it's just a tough spot to be in, really, because I
Yeah,
think
man.
I think we last year I would have said that the defense was probably the best unit. This year it's probably the offense, and it's not been able to mask the issues that are on defense
Yeah,
unless we're up and we get up early by a couple scores and we can start teeing off and not having to worry about so much the run game. Because when we were up in that game, in this game in particular, it felt like Trey Hendrickson was just having a field day. And then when they started to double team
yeah.
him and put more resources in that spot, um, there's just not another guy. And I hope that's the plan, is to maybe get some more depth, maybe in the interior spot instead of the edge. I know we already invested in Miles Murphy, but um, I don't know what the plan is there, to be honest. I mean, the Bengals' philosophy is to kind of let their rookies sit a year, learn the system, develop. Next year, they can't have that. They got to get a guy that's going to help them right away. So hopefully, long term, that they can figure that out. Um,
Yeah.
Eric, what are your thoughts on what they should do moving forward? What are some of the top things that you would look at? Roster construction. Just give me some of the top things. Is it T. Higgins? Are your top priorities on defense? What are your thoughts?
Man, I think the T. Higgins conversation is a little raw, and I don't know if the people are ready to hear me talk about T. Higgins at this moment. But what I'll say, man, is that they need to have a really tough look in the mirror. They need to make sure that they commit to running the ball, and not really, not I wouldn't say change the entire team, but they need to change their identity and start punching people in the mouth. Okay, they need to punch the Ravens in the mouth. They need to punch the Browns in the mouth. They need to punch the Steelers in the mouth. Yeah, you can have all these weapons, but the truth is that these cats out here playing bully ball, man. And I don't want to say they built their rosters to beat the Chiefs and the Bills, but when you look at it, the Bengals are not physically imposing their will on the Ravens and the Steelers and the Browns. When you think about it, man, it all starts up front. Continue to add up front. See what you're going to do with Jonah Williams. Do you bring him back? Yes, no, maybe. I think Jonah has a good opportunity to come back. Seems like Jonah's happy here, and I think there's a chance he could come back, but he might also demand the bag. Got to get the right tackle position solved ASAP. Like, that can't be a question coming into next year. You can't come into the season next year and have a question mark at right tackle, right? You can't come into the season next year and have a question in interior D line. They have the capital. They will have the capital in free agency this coming season. Go look at the salary cap and look at what they're coming into the offseason with. The Bengals have to be aggressive, right? It's going to be like the year where the Bengals. It should be like. I'm not going to say it's going to be like. It should be like the year the Bengals before the Bengals went to the Super Bowl and they added all the free agents, right? They should go out and add free agents on defense that fit the mold, that are hungry to win, and they do need to focus on defense. And they might need to, Casey, go ahead and draft another safety early in the draft. They might need to draft a safety, man, honestly. And I wouldn't be surprised if they drafted a defensive player early in next year's draft. And then, heck, man, you got to figure out what you're doing with T. In my opinion, if you weren't going to if you were not going to extend T, why'd you let Jesse go? And that's a question that I'll have forever, right? Because you really could have played Jesse less money than what you were going to have to pay T, and you could have kept a premier player,
Yeah.
right? You could have kept Jesse. He wanted to be in Cincinnati. I'm sure we could have made it work. You know what I mean? And Jesse's gone now, so that's kind of water under the bridge. But my question is, hey, man, if you weren't going to pay T, why'd you let Jesse go? And this is Casey. I felt like this season was do or die. It was
Yeah.
Super Bowl or bust for me. That's why when Joe, like, people criticized me and they were kind of upset. But when Joe Burrow went down, man, I was like, dang it. That's it for me. Like, this season's a wash. That's how I felt. And I truly did. And maybe I was a little bit premature on that. And I should have fought with the boys. But that's just how I felt because I know how important having a franchise quarterback is. And I know what it means, right? It gives you a chance. It's not about the efficiency. It's not about, oh my gosh, we're winning. It's about when your back is against the wall and you're playing the best of the best, or you're in crunch time situations in 2 minutes in the fourth quarter, you got to go have it. Do you have a guy that's going to stand in there and make that throw? And that's what Joe Burrow is to me. So to me, I'm rambling. To reel it back in and tie it in to what I'm saying is the Bengals have to approach this next offseason as it is everything or nothing. Be aggressive. You have 9 draft picks. You'll have 9 draft picks. Be aggressive. You don't need them all. Go get a player who's going to help this team win now, and let's go do it because you got the roster. You got the guys. Joe Burrow looks like he's a little kind of like, man, he's like, man, I can't believe I'm not throwing my guys. So this is important to Joe, man. This is really hitting home, I think, to Joe. And it's going to make that next year much more special. But it's tough to see right now, Casey. It is, man. We're still not even overcoming our current wounds. But the Bengals just have to be aggressive, man. That's all I want.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I know a lot of people in the chat want to see the Bengals go all out next year. I have to agree with you. I thought this was a do or die season as well before they start having to make super tough decisions. Now those decisions are staring them straight in the face. It's going to be a tough offseason, I'll tell you, to discuss what the Bengals should do after coming off of this year, which is just disappointing. I want to just quickly shout out the guys in the chat. Mark, Brian, Molly, Stephen C., Edwin Miller, Tanya Ellis, Ricky Logan, Ride or Die, you guys, Sean Connor, Trace. Thank you all for watching. Cincy Sports Only 4-4. This has been a tough game. This has been a tough year for us Bengals fans. It could have been over 4 or 5 weeks ago, though. Like, at least we got what we got. We got an extra 5 weeks to kind of have meaningful football. I don't think the Browns are playing their starters next week, so maybe we can get another win. Just go out there for pride's sake and win and not go undefeated, or not undefeated, but lose every game in the AFC North. I would love for us not to do that. So I'm still going to be watching the games next week just because I don't want to see us embarrass ourselves in the AFC North. But man, not to keep rambling.
Dude, getting swept by the AFC North is nasty work, dude. We cannot. We got to go 1-6, man, okay? We got 1-5, right? 1-5, not 1-6. We got to go 1-5 against the AFC North. The boys got to bring the lunch box and hard hats tomorrow or next week. And, dude, this is a cold world to live in. I mean, this should piss the entire team off. And I really should piss Zach off, man, because granted, you can't control injuries. But there's certain things that you can do that maybe puts you in a better situation and maybe prevents things from happening. Chase Brown, I saw someone in the chat say Chase Brown is going to be huge. He needs more touches, man. He shouldn't walk out of a game without less than 10 carries and maybe 5 to 6 targets. But that's a whole nother conversation, man. I want to say shout out to the chat as well, too, Casey, and the guys and girls out there, Molly, Ricky, Logan, Brian, Steve, Mark, as always, Tanya, And I want to say Happy New Year's, right? Be safe out there, be smart, and enjoy yourself. And I'm actually in the house sick, man. So have one for me. You know what I mean? If you're out there living the dream.
Yeah, have another one for just Eric. Get another one.
Yeah.
Make sure that you're rowdy tonight for him because he's feeling it. I'm gonna be feeling it just because I'm a sad puppy or a sad kitten. I'm a sad Bengals fan right now. This year sucked in terms of what's happened to the Bengals, but
Yeah,
we will get them next year, and we will be here next year and next week. So if you are still wanting to follow the Bengals throughout the offseason, please subscribe, like the show, like our other stuff, go watch other stuff. Have a happy new year. We'll catch y'all next time.
Let's go. Happy New Year. Hoo day.